My name is Bill, and I am the Snarky Apologist. Now, going back to the Watchtower Society's belief that Jerusalem was destroyed in 607 BCE, now we've already seen that being dismantled. There's a lot of information on the internet. I've done a couple of videos showing that not only has it been dismantled based on archaeological evidence and evidences that are available for all to see, not to mention the unanimous coming together of all archaeologists saying that the 607 BCE is a wrong date. Be that as it may, the evidence speaks against the Watchtower in an extremely high manner. Now, this video is going to go a little further and show you how a family named the Egibi family, they were very prominent in Babylon. As a matter of fact, there's some stories that talk about how they were part of the those taken captive, and they learned basically, or had come up with the idea of the banking system. So the Egibi family is said to have been the founders of the banking system that we have today. They had kept meticulous records. Now, these are not just people in some home who saved the receipts from the grocery store and, that kind of thing, but rather a business that extended from generation to generation to generation to generation, okay? Meticulous records kept showing beyond a shadow of a doubt who was king at a certain time in history. When you take all these documents that are time-stamped and show the lineage of the kings, the Watchtower 607 date, big time. Watch this. Okay, here's what you do. Go on the internet and Google Egibi, Egibi family. And you'll find that most sources, there's a tremendous amount. If you're dealing with Babylon or the ancient Near East or what have you, this very prominent family is used as a reference point for most of the archaeologists and scholars out there dealing with that time frame in Babylon. And they're a very prominent family. They kept meticulous records. So we know that because of the volume of books that are written out there that use them as a reference point, we know we have accuracy. So with that in mind, let's move on. The piece of evidence that we're going to look at today is known as prosopography. This is the study that identifies and relates a group of persons or characters within a particular historical or literary context. It's basically, looking at, it basically means face or person. It's defined as the study of careers, especially of individuals linked by family, economic, social, or political relationships, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. In this case, we're going to look at the Egibi family. So, by far, the largest private archive of the Neo-Babylonian period is that of the Egibi business family household. Now, of this enterprise, the Egibi family, Bruno Meissner says, quote, "From the firm, the sons of Egibi, we possess such an abundance of documents that we are able to follow nearly all business transactions and personal experiences of its heads from the time of Nebuchadnezzar up to the time of Darius the First." Now, it was the Arabs in 1875 and 1876 that discovered all the business documents from the Egibi house. And they were found in a mound, actually, in a neighborhood that was about 4 miles southeast of the ruins of Babylon. They found about 3,000 to 4,000 tablets, and they were enclosed in jars, kind of resembling large water jars, and they were covered and cemented, and put tiles covering them, and for preservation. So they were actually well kept and well maintained. Now enters William St. Chad Boscawen. Boscawen was the one who was able to examine all the documentations, all the records of the Egibi household, and he wrote a report in 1878, which was entitled Transactions of the Society of Biblical Archaeology. In the report, he states that the tablets, quote, relate to the various monetary transactions of a Babylonian banking and financial agency trading under the name of Egibi and Sons, end quote. He says further that the tablets, quote, relate to every possible commercial transaction, from the loan of a few shekels of silver to the sale or mortgage of whole estates whose value is thousands of manas of silver, end quote. So Boscawen realizes the importance of following the sequence of the heads of the Egibi firm. He knows that if he can document who was in charge, who's the chief here at Egibi, he would have a succession, because the records would show when somebody made a purchase that, John Smith purchased such and such a property in the 3rd year of the reign of Nabonidus or whatever, right? So they were all time-stamped in that fashion. So by showing all the transactions that were done and the, quote, timestamps of who was king at that time, he had a perfect sequence showing that there was no break, as the Watchtower claims. There was no break and extra kings inserted or time frames inserted. No, he had an absolutely foolproof succession and evidence tied up into these documents to prove his findings. What did Boscawen's findings show? Well, it showed that from the 3rd year of Nebuchadnezzar, there was a person named Shula who acted as the head of the Egibi firm or business, and he continued in that role for 20 years. It was up to the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar when he died, but he was succeeded by his son, Nabu-Ahidina. Now, Nabu-Ahidina continued as the head of the firm for a period of 38 years. That is from the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar to the 12th year of Nabonidus, when he was succeeded by his son, Iti-Marduk-Balatu. All right? So, Iti-Marduk-Balatu, in his turn, he remained head of the firm until the 1st year of Darius the First, which we know to be 521, 520 BC, which was the 23rd year of his headship as the kingpin over at the Egibi firms, right? So, what does this show? Well, this shows you that there was a period of 81 years between the 3rd year of Nebuchadnezzar II to the 1st year of Darius. Now, the reason that this fact is so important is that it totally agrees with the royal canon, the Neo-Babylonian historical records, and all other evidences that we have. Now, counting backwards those 83 years from the 1st year of Darius in 521, 520 BC, that brings you to 604 BCE. That's the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, and that completely agrees with all other lines of evidence. The Watchtower is bankrupt. And just to add insult to injury, which when it comes to the leadership of the Watchtower is always a lot of fun, not only does this cover the Neo-Babylonian period, but because of the extended family and the decades of the Egibi household, they've got records that extend beyond the Neo-Babylonian period and way into the Persian era. So, where are we left? Well, here's the takeaway on the whole video. You ready? Number 1, the Egibi firm banking records. Accurate? Yeah, you bet. Number 2, it documents the chronological order of the Babylonian kings. Number 3, it validates the sequential order of the kings that oppose Watchtower teachings. And number 4, the Watchtower is once again busted and proven to be a false teacher.